Hey everybody, welcome back to another adventure with me and Michael. Today we are going to the Cape Canaveral National Seashore, and we are entering from the northern entrance driving south at Apollo Beach. This would be about 9 miles south of New Smyrna Beach in Florida. I'm going to say it up front, please pardon the way he and I are dressed. We both have on bathing suits because our original intention was to go swimming at Blue Springs State Park this day. We got all the way up there and it was closed and all the other springs were at capacity, so this was a bit of a spur of the moment decision and we weren't really dressed quite the way we probably would have wanted to be. Vehicle entrance the day we went was $20, but it gets you a park pass so you can come back as many times as you want to for 7 days. We happen to have a national park pass though, so we can get in for free. As soon as you drive in from the entrance that we entered, which is the Apollo Beach northern entrance, this is the visitor center that you will come to. I have a weird phobia where I cannot walk underneath large animals suspended from the ceiling. I know it sounds ridiculous. So I didn't even go in there. I just stood at the door and took this footage. But Michael walked around and looked at the museum and said it was pretty cool. Michael and I were pleasantly surprised to find that this park has a guided audio tour. Every time you get to a stop, you dial this phone number and enter the number of the stop where you are. And there's about a 2 or 3 minute audio recording where they will tell you about the place that you're stopped at. So we thought that was super cool and we followed the entire tour and did all of the stops. I think there were about 5 of them. The first stop on the guided audio tour at Canaveral National Seashore is this place called Turtle Mound, and that's the reason why I wanted to come here in the first place. A few weeks ago when we were on our tour of Daytona and New Smyrna and we saw the sugar mills and Bongo Land and the Eileen Wuornos sites, I had wanted to go to Turtle Mound then when we were in this area, but this is a not dog-friendly, only service dog-friendly national park, and we had Abra with us that day, so we had to skip it. I was so glad we were able to come back. The earliest evidence of humans at Cape Canaveral is found in these numerous mounds and middens within its boundaries. This particular turtle-shaped mound contains oysters and shells, and it was built by the prehistoric Timucuan people. It is about 50 feet high, extends for over 600 feet along the Indian River shoreline, and contains over 35,000 cubic yards of shells. Turtle Mound is visible from up to 7 miles out at sea. Archaeologists believe the Timucua may have used the site as a high ground refuge during hurricanes. It was constructed between 800 and 1400 CE. However, recent radiocarbon dating tests may indicate that construction was begun around 1000 BCE. A piece of pottery that is 1200 years old was recently found on this site. In 1605, the Spanish explorer and cartographer Alvaro Mejia visited the site of Turtle Mound and reported Native American Indians launching their dugout canoes from the mound's base. Over many years of this practice, the once rounded mound began to take on the form of a turtle, giving the feature its name. Early Spanish colonists and subsequent mariners utilized the large mound as a landmark. At its highest, Turtle Mound was estimated to be about 75 feet high. Shell rock mining in the 19th and 20th centuries reduced its height to as seen today. Other similar mounds were leveled and relocated to provide road fill material. There has never been a complete archaeological excavation of Turtle Mound. Archaeological sites such as Turtle Mound are the last remaining vestige of the Timucuan people. Some mounds have been so disturbed that their archaeological record was destroyed and their artifacts lost forever. The true purpose of Turtle Mound is not clear, especially because there's never been a thorough investigation of this site. Indian shell middens can be found all over the state of Florida. There's a lot of speculation on what they were originally created for. And as I said in this video, it's thought that they might have been a high point of refuge after a Florida hurricane. Perhaps they had some type of religious semblance. Perhaps they were some sort of landmark so that they could easily be found. No one really truly knows, and I would really love to have the answer for that. Michael and I have been watching and reading so much Graham Hancock lately, and we can't help but wonder what this mound would have looked like had it not been allowed to overgrow with all this vegetation, and perhaps what kind of a view it would have from the top of the mound, and could it have possibly been used for any type of astrological study, solstice worship, or any of those kinds of things. We don't know. We'll never know. We're not archaeologists, and I do wish somebody at some point could get an answer for this question. And of course, I don't think it was anywhere near overgrown like this either.
Right.
I really wish we could strip all this vegetation away and see what it does look like down there, but perhaps archaeologists have already done that and there's no more.
That's the one thing that I really like at Home Assassin when we went to that one mound.
Yeah.
It would just stare straight up to it.
Turtle Mound also has this nice flat area you can park and walk out and set up camp. I didn't take a whole lot of footage because there actually were quite a few people here set up to fish for the day, but it also leads you to a little trail that follows the riverbank, and Michael and I decided to walk away from the crowd and explore the riverbank. Babe, it's a big one. Look at the size of this thing, my goodness. That's what this whole shell midden is made out of, huh? There's somebody over there fishing, so I'm not gonna bother him. They've restored this. They've restored this with oyster shells too. The nature trail took us to this opening where we could get a good view of the Mosquito Lagoon in the Indian River. We did not get in this water, don't know if there probably would be alligators in it, but we did enjoy seeing some fish swim by and some crabs. There's a crab right there, but I'm too afraid of alligators to go in after him. What do you see?
Fish.
Little fishies? I wonder if they show up on this video. I'm too scared to get in the water. I don't know if there's alligators. And it's water. There's a gator.
Are you serious?
Yeah. The ocean, the lakes, the rivers, the lagoons, the pools. The oversized dog water bowls.
A little bit too low right there.
No, I don't want to do anything. You don't know whose nest you're disturbing.
No, I know. That too.
I think this is as far as I want to go.
Okay. We'll go. There's 2 more trails.
I'm waiting for the creature from the Black Lagoon to come.
Just to come up out of the water.
Yeah. We took a few moments here to appreciate the fact that we were standing at the base of this shell midden that once upon a time stood 75 feet high, so much higher than it stands today, and that we're looking at probably some of the original shells that were here that built the original foundation, and just how awe-inspiring and impressive that is. The next stop on our guided audio tour led us to the parking lot and a brief stroll to what is left today of the Eldora community and the Eldora State House. Originally known as Pumpkin Point, this area has been popular for centuries for clamming, fishing, and crabbing. Evidence of food gathering and preparation at this site by the prehistoric Timucuan people underlies the remains of the 19th century settlement. Pumpkin Point is on average 3 feet above sea level. The community of Eldora typified development in Florida in the late 1800s, which consisted of small settlements along the waterways. Eldora was a community of orange groves in the latter part of the 19th century. Though little remains of the original buildings, Eldora was once large enough to warrant a post office and a small school. Between 1877 and 1900, as many as 100 people, including landowners, caretakers, and their families, lived in this community. Ultimately, a freeze destroyed most of its crops, and the village was nearly completely abandoned and never regained its population. From 1900 to 1938, no longer an agricultural settlement, this village shifted focus to one of rest and relaxation, and it functioned as homes for leisure pursuits. The arrival of the railroad had shifted tourism, and Florida was becoming a tourist destination. Sport hunting and fishing lodges became popular during this period. After about 1938, tourists' interests had changed, causing less visitors to come to this site and the decline of it being known as a leisure retreat. The last resident in Eldora House was Doris Leeper, who passed away in 2000. Doris was a locally famous artist and conservationist in the 1980s. Management of what was left of the Eldora community was officially turned over to the federal government with the development of Canaveral National Seashore. Only 2 of the original buildings remain. The Eldora House now holds a museum, but the doors were locked the day that Michael and I visited. A few of the original orange trees that survived the early 20th century freeze still remain on the property. It's gorgeous. God, Florida. Forget how pretty it is because it's so stinking hot, you know?
Doing a picture under those?
Yeah. This is about the point we realized we were following the map given to us at the visitor office upside down and had to start over. So if you noticed that our first stop was actually number 2, now we are going in the right direction. We got a little turned around. This is stop number 1. Stop number 1 is a wild, completely natural, undeveloped beach, and it's beautiful to be able to see as far as you can in any direction, no buildings. There was also a nature hiking trail here at stop number 1 called the Castle Windy Trail. I'm not sure how long this trail is in total because Michael and I only walked probably about a quarter of a mile and then turned around and came back. We had a full day of things to see here at Canaveral National Seashore, and we didn't want to spend more time on this trail. But if you're looking for a hike that will take you through natural, undeveloped Florida, lots of beautiful sawgrass, this was a really nice trail and it was shady, so it wasn't too hot. And we enjoyed what we got to see of it. If I'm back in the area, I'll probably do it again just to see the full trail. After seeing the beach and how beautiful it is completely undeveloped, Michael and I decided to ride this road out knowing that it's a dead end, and we were shocked to find out that it's actually a nude beach beyond this point, and it is totally legal to lay out and tan completely naked. Here you can see where the road runs out and we turned around to head back out of the park. As you can see, it's a cloudy and overcast day, so we decided not to go check out the nude beach today, but that will be in another vlog coming up soon. We definitely wanted to see what a nude beach is like. Neither one of us had ever been to such. To finish the guided audio tour, we actually had to leave the park the way we came in, get back on the highway, and go down to the southern entrance, which is also the entrance for Playa Linda Beach. The next stop on our drive and along the route to the Playa Linda Park entrance is this stop known as Simol Rest, located on the western shore of the Mosquito Lagoon. Archaeologists agree that the Timucuan Indians lived in the wooded areas nearby where trees provided wood for fuel and shelter, and the freshwater springs also supplied drinking water. Women and children gathered shellfish along the shore with their hands and feet or digging with sticks and rakes. Meanwhile, the men fished in the deeper waters of the lagoon or the Atlantic Ocean using fish traps, nets, barbed arrows, and spears.
Great. Is this guy alive? This is like the blue crabs we saw in Belize.
That's what I just saw.
See this big fella sitting?
Look at all these crabs over here, babe. There's 100 of them. Look.
I see him. You didn't see that big boy, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Do you see all that mud they've dug out?
This is awesome. I love crab.
Several mounds exist here at Seminole Rest. Clam shells make up most of the mound layers, although other materials were also used, such as oysters, conchs, and whelk shells, as well as the remains of sea trout, shark, and bass. The abundance of clam shells indicated that the site was probably used for harvesting clams. There are layers that suggest that there were periods of time when the mound was not used, but instead was overgrown with vegetation. Remains of pokeberry, hackberry, and skullcap in the layers show vegetation has changed very little over the centuries. Many of these plants may have been used by the Timucua for food, fuel, and medicine. This is gorgeous. Babe, look, don't move. The largest mound at Seminole Rest is known as Snider's Mound, and it is not one mass of shells. In some areas, it is made of 17 different layers deposited over time. Archaeologists have been trying to interpret the layers to find clues to the Timucuan way of life. In 1564, illustrator Jacques Lemoyne came to Florida as part of a French expedition. His vivid drawings depicting Timucuan life are our only visual record of this now extinct civilization that occupied much of Florida for thousands of years. Permanent settlement of this part of Florida began after the Civil War. This area was harvested for live oak trees that were used to build ships, lending to the name Oak Hill given to this mound and later to the town to the west. This site was settled in the early 1870s, after which time drainage projects created large expanses of dry land for citrus farming. The coming of the railroads at the end of the 19th century caused the citrus industry to boom, and the area remained relatively agricultural despite the rapid population growth created by the burgeoning tourist and aerospace industries. Snider's Mound was divided into several lots during the 1870s to 1880s. One lot became the location of the post office serving Oak Hill. It escaped the fate of many of the other mounds along the East Coast because the owners of Snider's Mound refused to sell it to be dismantled for construction materials. Structures that remain on the site today are the historic Instone House and the Caretaker's House. The non-historic garage and boat dock were added at a later time. The Instone House was constructed sometime prior to 1890 and may have been moved from its original location elsewhere on the mound. It was enlarged from 9 rooms to 14 plus 3 bathrooms through the addition of a 3rd floor while under the ownership of Hatton Toomer from 1890 to 1911. The house is of a late Victorian style with steeply pitched roof and end gables. It is built with a wood frame with board and batten siding covered with yellow shingles. It originally had porches surrounding it, but porches on only 3 sides remain today. The interior retains much of its original fabric and appears to have been altered only to provide electricity, indoor plumbing, and a modern kitchen. Unfortunately, the houses were locked the day Michael and I visited, and we were unable to take a tour of the inside. The Caretaker's House is a wood frame structure that dates to pre-1890. It has a steeply pitched roof, board and batten siding, an original bay window, and porches on 2 sides. Several doors and windows have been modified from their original, and the interior has undergone a more extensive modernization than the Instone House. This structure may have been the post office for Oak Hill for some years. In 1911, this property was purchased by Wesley H. Snider, and it remained in the Snider family until the late 1980s, when it was sold to the Nature Conservancy and then to the National Park Service.
Oh, these clams are in metal cages. Seminole rest. I mean, my goodness. Ah, what does it say, Mom?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, it's some kind of crab. I never found one intact before, but now I know the ones intact must have inhabitants. just want to show off how brave I am. I'm just going to set a couple toes in here. Just a couple toes.
Well, you can see the sandbar up there.
Yeah.
How's the water temp?
Oh, it's warm. It feels amazing. Smile.
It's a pretty long drive from the north to the south entrance of Canaveral National Seashore, but along the way is this place called Manatee Observation Deck, and it's an absolute cannot miss. So it is unclear why manatees love this area so much, but they tend to congregate here year-round in large numbers and are just about guaranteed to always be visible any day that you come to this observation deck. I took quite a few minutes of footage of these manatees because I absolutely love manatees. You may want to fast forward through this if this isn't your thing, but just so you know, there's quite a few minutes of this. It was pretty hard for Michael to peel me away from the Manatee observation deck, but we did need to get back on the road and go to the final stop on our guided audio tour. The last stop on our tour was this one. It's known as Eddy Creek, and basically all it is a parking lot and a boat ramp. At first I wasn't really sure why the guided audio tour even brought us here because it didn't look like anything special. But Michael and I decided to park the car and get out and look at it anyway, and then ended up having a great time watching the wildlife on the beach.
Oh my god, the crabs. Oh my gosh, the crabs, babe. Millions of them. They heard me coming and they scattered. There's like a whole army of them that just went up underneath the trees.
What's out there? What just came up to the top of the water? Are those manatees?
I don't know, but she did say something about jumping fish on one of those recordings.
Hang on, what's this guy?
There's a blue crab right there.
Right
You
here.
see him? Yeah.
See his conch shell moving?
Yeah, look right here.
Yeah, I see him. He's dead.
Oh no.
Those are manatees, babe.
They might be. Hang on. Look at this.
Well, he's getting it too, isn't he?
He don't know we're here.
I want to go out there and see the manatees. Oh.
He heard me. Uh-oh.
I gotta get. Yep.
Oh, that was... They're right. There's one right here. See a nose over there.
You see a tail right there?
Yep. How have we not seen any alligators today?
I don't know, go say that. I keep looking behind me in this grassy area because I feel like we're going to see it on like one of the David Attenborough shows where they go for the water.
I love the little sounds manatees make.
Yeah.
There's a big bird over there. Two big birds over there.
Yeah.
Here comes something else. I think there's a big blue crab in the water right here.
I see something moving.
Right there. Well, there's another shell
That's
coming.
another conch shell. Yeah, you're right about that crab right there.
I don't know if you can see it on my phone. Right here. There's a blue crab right there.
Yeah, I do. Who's this guy just getting it there?
Uh-oh. He saw the crab.
Um,
And now he's bubbling. Do you see him bubbling?
Yeah. And no. Wrong way. Sorry. Sorry.
That was about to be a whole ass collision,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Then I have the whole time combined we've been in Florida.
I want to go until I see them start scattering, and then I'll... They don't know I'm coming yet. Yeah, I've seen more sea life than I've ever seen in one day outside of going to somewhere like SeaWorld.
No, right. Yeah, exactly. Oh, the manatees.
I'm not getting sunburnt.
There's lettuce over here.
Yeah, people are feeding them. They shouldn't be. Look at that bird going across the water. Here's that grass I love. Looks like little...
I know. I want to know what that is. I've never seen that before today. Well, I mean, except on video.
God, I just want to swim in this water so bad.
There's another crab, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like us blowing air out of our snorkel. Oh, God. That one scared me. Where you guys going? Come here.
Here, manatee, 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 manatee. Come back, manatee, manatee. I am roasting. I can feel my skin sizzling. Scare me. You don't scare me.
Look at the crab.
Yep. I'm telling you, look, just look.
They're back, everybody.
It looks like a whole bunch of spiders just running into the shade.
It does. They look so gross.
Some of them are carrying things. Look over here. Look over here. Look. Can you see?
No? What?
There's a whole bunch of them. You see?
Oh, God.
That's what I saw. Babe, they're going together like a little family.
Oh, my God. I've never seen that many crabs like that.
Boy, I hope you can see it on this video I'm taking. There's like hundreds of them going up back in there, like a whole family together.
Before we left Eddy's Creek, we walked across the road to check out the beach. This is part of that undeveloped beach line that we were talking about at the very beginning of this video, and Michael and I absolutely fell in love with it. Part of it is a clothed beach and part of it is a nude beach, and we determined to come back and check it out just as soon as we had another day free.
Well, that was an amazing day.
That was awesome, especially when it was just sporadic, you know?
Saw way more cool things than I expected to see, and all because our plans this morning were foibled. Isn't that awesome?
It is. Those were the best days. That turned out to be the best day when we were in Ireland, too.
I'm falling in love with Florida all over again. There's just so much cool stuff here to do.
It just gets so hot in the summer months, it's hard to enjoy it when it's all outdoors.
Today is Wednesday. Is it Wednesday, August 2nd?
Yeah.
It's a hot one.
It
Dash
is.
says it's 85, but it feels like at least 95.
I can tell you. Look at this big horsefly.
Did you see? Oh no, is he still there?
Yeah, he's right here. I don't know if the mirror is
I can't zoom on front facing. There's a big horsefly right there on Michael's window. We are hungry.
We have seen so much marine life. It's crazy.
I had no idea we would be seeing so many crabs. The manatees was an unexpected surprise. That was thrilling. We didn't see any dolphins or alligators today. I see dolphins a lot when I least expect it, and never when I'm looking for them. And alligators, for me, are like unicorns. They're so elusive.
Feels like it's 96 out. everybody.
96.
Yeah.
All right. It's a hot one, but
It
you
is.
know,
We
it,
are starving.
the heat brings out wildlife. It is too bad I didn't have my camera out.
We completed the day.
We just saw an alligator. They're not uncommon in Florida. It's just as hot as it is, they tend to be at the bottom of the lakes and rivers because it's too hot. But we just happened to pass one as we were going down the road trying to get back to Highway US 1, and he was in the water, but his head and shoulders were out of it with his mouth wide open like that.
Yeah, he was looking for some food.
I saw it first and thought it was a snake and didn't even try to pull my phone out. And then right as we were passing it, and at the same time Michael saw it, he's like, that was an alligator. So
Awesome.
I think that made for a rounding it out as a perfect
that
day.
kept it off. That was great.
All right, let's go home. All right, I know we already wrapped up the vlog, but we just picked up little Abra from her babysitter, and guess what we're having for dinner?
Burgers.
3 guesses, and the first 2, McDonald's and Burger King, don't count.
Wendy's.
We've been on a Baconator roll for a while now.
But then we just got told the beer cheese is going
We're getting
away.
rid of beer cheese. I'm crushed. We are living for these Baconators with Munster, Asiago, and beer cheese.
Yeah, they said they're getting a new nacho burger, so we'll see what the ingredients are on the nacho cheese before we decide. But Julie told them, she's like, well, we might be back even more often now.
I think we've been averaging about twice a week for the last month or 2.
That's probably right.
At Wendy's. And actually the guy leaned out the window and said, are we preparing these right? Because you guys are here a lot. And we're like, yeah, that's why we're here a lot.
We're like, they're great. They're really great.
Here a lot. So we do the mobile order pickup, and if they do away with my beer cheese, I'm going to be so crushed.
I know. We'll have
Wendy's,
to
no!
do something. I know.
All right, that's going to wrap it up. We'll see you guys in another vlog. Bye, guys.